Hey, sports fans, welcome to another edition of the Thursday Forecast. We're doing it early here today because, as you all know, this is a holiday for those of us who live in the United States of America. So today is what they call Christmas. So, those of you out there who celebrate this holiday, Merry Christmas to you. So today we're going to be talking about the NBA slate, the NFL slate, and a little bit more on this episode of the Thursday Forecast. At some point, some of the other guys will be coming in to join me on this broadcast. Right now, we got the Cavs and the Knicks who are playing right now, and that game is still in the first quarter. So if you got a chance to go check out that NBA game that's taking place right now, let's welcome my man Post Game of the Post Game 86 podcast to the show. How you feeling post game?
Man, I feel good this morning or this afternoon. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. Good to see you in the house. We also got our man Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10 in the house with us this morning or this afternoon. How you feeling, Mossberg?
Pretty good, man. Happy holidays to everybody, man. Feeling pretty good. Just, getting settled in, getting off from a nap. So, man, happy holidays, man. Just thankful for another day and back, as we always say, with another banger. But it's on the Christmas side today. It's good to see everybody as well this morning.
Yeah, good to see you too. We also got our man T1 of City League TV in the house with us this afternoon. How you feeling, T1?
Feeling great, fellas, feeling great. Happy holidays to everybody. Great to see my brothers today.
Good to
Feeling
see
a
you.
little better today. So I'm almost back.
Oh, so that means you're gonna be doing a lot of talking then.
I might. I got a little bit in me.
There it is. There it is. So right now we got the Cavs and the Knicks who are playing right now. We got Brunson and I don't know who the Cavs got. Who they still got Donovan Mitchell over there in Cleveland. This game is in Madison Square Garden. How y'all feel about this matchup between the Cavs and the Knicks? Are either one of these teams going to be a team to watch going into the end of the season, going into the playoffs?
I'll kick it off first since it's my team. We're actually starting off a little slower this year than we did last year. Last year we got off to a really, really hot start, and it didn't pan out too well for us at the end of the season. So we're starting off a little slower now. Both of these teams will be in the hunt for the playoffs, and I expect for both of these teams come playoff time to be clicking on all cylinders as long as everybody's healthy. So I think we got a good one kicking it off here at noon with the Cavs and the Knicks, and I'm up for it.
You go ahead, Coach. You go ahead.
I'm really big on the Knicks this year. As I said before, I'm not huge on teams when their best player is the smallest player on the court. So that may be detrimental to the Knicks come playoff times. Uh, Big Cat is playing well. I actually like Cleveland too. I like them more last year, but again, man, these teams where their best player is their smallest player normally throughout history don't fare well when it comes playoff time. That's not my opinion. That's just the facts. But in the Eastern Conference, I can see Cleveland making a run. I can see the New York Knicks making a run. New York might be favored to win the East as it stands right now. But Cleveland's playing well. They're up double digits against the Knicks so far. And really, the Cavaliers, if they can remain healthy, they can be a team to watch because I believe Jared Allen's been out with injuries, and he's a critical piece to that team. So in the Eastern Conference this year, Boston probably won't be there due to their star player being out. But I really like the Knicks. I think they're number one in the standings right now, if I'm not mistaken. But This would if the Cleveland Cavaliers can pull this game out, this would be a big win and definitely a momentum boost. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Um,
they're second. New York is second in the East. I'm not for sure who the first is. I think the East is just wide open this year.
yeah, I agree with both of you. I like the breakdown, and I totally agree with the East being wide open. Me for New York, I think about last year with Milwaukee. I know last year is last year, but when you win that cup, when it comes to that playoff time, that finals time, it's like, where are you? I was looking for Milwaukee last year. I couldn't really find them. They got riddled with injuries throughout that part of the season. So for me, can New York stay healthy? Is there a team that's interested in some of these pieces that New York have? Whereas with Cleveland, they were hurt last year. Now this team has shown a different phase through the injuries early this year. You're seeing players step up. Wade, he's a big player. I can't remember the shooter that Cleveland had. Wade hit shots as well, but the way that they're gelling. If Cleveland stays healthy, I think they advance further than the Knicks this year. I like this Cleveland team over New York. I don't know why. I just think with New York winning that cup, nothing against them. They're a great team. But I think Cleveland still holds the edge, having those bigs and Mobley down low being a big difference in how he's come into his own. And I think if people really watch Cleveland and watch the growth in Mobley, I've been watching him since high school, him and his brother. That kid is special um, from the time he touched the basketball. So I think how he goes, Cleveland goes. And Mitchell, he got something to prove this year, and I think this game within itself is one that he's looking to maintain and get a big win today for Cleveland.
I would just add that, and forgive me, man, but I don't know how this team slipped my mind, but the Detroit Pistons, in my opinion, is the team to beat in the East. Cade Cunningham is coming to his own. That kid has really developed, and he can play ball, man. Durant at the big spot. So I think Detroit is the team in the East to watch. Although I'm not saying they're gonna win the East because definitely Cleveland and New York definitely got something to say about that. Don't sleep on the Toronto Raptors or the Orlando Magic either.
Yeah, he's wide open.
Okay.
Great point. Yeah, Detroit is definitely the surprise team, and I may say in all of the NBA, not just the East. That's a surprise team, a young team, and you just have to wonder if they can get over that hump come playoff time because we all know come playoff time it's a completely different animal. So it will be interesting to see if Detroit can take that next step. And even I could even just go as far as saying it's just winning the series. I think that would be a great move in the right direction for Detroit. And they had one of the best coaches in Bickerstaff. I was upset that Cleveland let him go. I didn't think that warranted uh, firing. I thought that he was doing a good job and we were moving in a great direction. But it's great to see Detroit getting themselves up out the dungeons and getting back up to the top of the East.
Yeah, just real quick, I'm glad you mentioned that as well with the Detroit teams, both of you guys. I think Cade Cunningham, I've I've taken hold, and me and Uncle was talking about documentaries. I think in the last stream, I watched a documentary with these Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham was the leader of that team. He's under 25. He's literally the leader on a veteran field team with that young build in Detroit. So I predicted Carolina on the football side, Detroit on the NBA side is coming too. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. And we talk about future of the NBA. This man Cade he's quietly making a name for what he's doing in this NBA league. And I think we need to put some respect and talk about him a little more when we talk about future and the face of the league, even because he upholds a lot of those things. He's just with a team in Detroit, and I think he does win that first round this year, City League TV. I think the Detroit Pistons win the first round, and possibly Cade with a 30 possible triple double first round average for the first time, I think, in Detroit Piston history.
Outside of Brunson for the Knicks, how important is it for Big Cat to have a phenomenal season that can help propel them into the playoffs and into the championship game. Last year they got to the Eastern Conference Finals and ended up losing to Indiana. How important is Big Cat in their progression this season to make it to the finals?
Very important. Very, he's a not only is he 7 foot, but he's a big piece to that puzzle. He is actually just as important as Brunson as far as getting that train to moving and trying to compete for NBA finals, NBA championship. So Big Cat is a big deal in New York, and he has to play his best ball this year. I think New York may feel like it's either finals or bust this year.
Yeah. And when you say that, just thinking about this game specifically, you got a big in Mobley. He got to match up against an athletic big. Some of these bigs that he's going against is a lot more athletic than him, maybe quicker. I think he's the biggest piece outside of Brunson. I agree. I think if Cat don't average a double double in the playoffs, the Knicks don't get to the finals. I think it's very, very important. Looking at this game, he has 3 minutes. He's in foul trouble. He's not doing no production. So that's going to be something to look at. They're down 15. Imagine him having 5 points. That'd be a difference in this game. So I agree. Cat's a big piece to this New York team.
Yeah, Cat is humongous when it comes to the New York Knicks and their success. But fellas, man, this is look. Cat is 7 foot. He got athleticism. He long. This man should be averaging at least 2, 3 blocks per game. That's where I would like to see him utilize is controlling that pace on the boards, getting some key blocks in there. These big men now are good, and no disrespect to Big Cat, but man, these are not the Chris Webbers. These are not the Tim Dump Truck Duncans. KGs, the Dirks, the Elton Brands. I can go on and on. These guys different, and Cat can hit the three, but sometimes he does fall in love with the three. And just me personally, I would like to see him get more physical in that paint because I think he can really dictate the game in that way. But I'm gonna tell y'all another player that the Knicks need, and I don't think this player it knows how good he is really, and that's OG Anobi. 6'8", 6'9", about 240. That dude chiseled, really athletic, but he gonna be a big key for the New York Knicks if they gonna make a run also.
I agree.
Okay. What about we got the Spurs and the Thunder at 2:30 in Oklahoma City? What's your thoughts on this matchup? How important is it for OKC to get a win here to try to get to reach that 73 in terms of the record for wins in a season?
It's big. I think it's this game is very big. I think Christmas Day. I don't know if they play each other again before or after All-Star break. I think they play a couple more times. But for me, how many minutes does Wemby play? If Wemby plays more minutes than he played in the previous game, Spurs win double digits, even in OKC. I think this game we could possibly be looking at the Western Conference, finals matchup this year. So, man, this game is big. Wemby shy. You thinking of the possible, the fact that they're, what is it that I'm looking for? The culture that they're doing in the face of the NBA. Wemby shy. It's a lot that goes on in this game, but I'm gonna take San Antonio. I like Wemby. I know what OKC brings, but I like the fact that San Antonio just a team that under the radar, even with Wemby, that they defeated them last game with less minutes out of Wemby. So I got them in a win in this one.
Right on. The Spurs have been getting the better of OKC. These are the two best teams in the Western Conference, in my opinion. Uh, you can add Denver in the mix. It looks like Minnesota is coming along. The Lakers are the Lakers. They need to get Luca back healthy. He should be healthy and playing tonight. But to me, OKC is the cream of the crop. And as I just mentioned, I know they've been having some trouble with the San Antonio Spurs, but who wouldn't? But I just like this OKC team, man. Young, athletic, scrappy, play defense. They got their first taste of blood, man. And I think in the playoffs they're gonna be real tough to beat. But the only question I got for San Antonio is, they're really young, and can Wemby stay healthy? So come playoff time, he can have an effect and really assert his dominance for years to come in the NBA. But I'm gonna take OKC today, man. I think they bounce back on Christmas Day. SGA, in my opinion, is the best player in the world. I think OKC finds a way to get it done today.
I'm just gonna say I love these two young teams, man. I love these two young teams. Um, San Antonio. I'm not gonna go as far as to say that they have OKC's number just yet, but they just match up really, really well with OKC, and they give OKC those problems that they don't have when they're playing these other teams. I just love the youth on both of these teams, man. And this is an exciting matchup. This is one of the up and coming matchups to where every single time these two teams play, it's must see TV. And as Poe said, Shea is definitely the best player in all of the world right now. He cannot be stopped. You can only hope to contain him. He has that Jordan feel to him. He's going to get his money. It's going to look like he had a not a big game, but you'll look and he'll have 32. You know what I mean? So I like that about Shea. I like what Wemby is doing in San Antonio. I love that young core, and I'm looking forward to watching that game. And I'm actually rooting for San Antonio to give OKC something to think about for this back-to-back run that they're searching for, and I actually believe that they're gonna get.
One.
Go
ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Say what you was gonna say, because I got a question for you.
About this game. I don't think a lot of people realize what guards we're watching in this game. Coming back from injury, De'Aaron Fox, Shy, Kentucky. We looking at Kentucky products. Both of them respectably played 1 year, I believe. And Fox is one of my guys as well. Even through injury, one thing since he's been back in December specifically, he's been on a tear. And I think if Fox gets 20 plus today, I think, that's a bigger game for the Spurs even. So I think, shout out to what they doing in Kentucky with some of these guards that they bring to the NBA. So it's going to be a battle of that. They know each other, along with the Wemby, SoCon. I mean, it's just so much about this game. And like you said, they match up well, T1. And it's going to be something to think about. Do they have OKC's number? That's something to think about now that you mentioned that. With that being said, if they could get this win today, I know it's going to be a lot that the OKC go back to the drawing board about when it comes to the Spurs.
Do y'all think that the Spurs should go ahead and come up with a formula to load manage Wembley? Because he's an injury-prone player. Do you think they should just start looking in that direction, especially when they go on some of these? I don't know if they do those long road trips like they used to do in the past, but if they do you think they should start thinking of a formula to load manage him?
No, I just think you just can't play 30, 35 minutes or 30, you know what I mean? You just have to make sure, and definitely when these games are, they have good, comfortable leads. I mean, I would just say just make sure that you're allowed to get him as much rest as possible while still making sure that he's able to be on the court and be efficient for his team so that they can prepare and get ready for a playoff run.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you threw stats out the window, what players sit when their teams are up. You know what I mean? That's one thing I just thought about when you mentioned that as well. I think he definitely, the wear and tear. That's just great points, He I'm not going to say restrict his minutes, but if you up, sit down. What's the use of having him man through a long stretch? And you know what happens, throughout the time of a season, his injury and things like that. So it makes you think, yeah, you might as well put it on a restriction to about 28 to 35. 40, what is it, 48 minutes in a game? I don't think you need to play all the minutes. I understand what the fans come for, but everybody need to get a piece of that pot. That's the only way you make your team better and have a deeper bench throughout the season.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of load managing. It really it boggles my mind to think that we got so many upgrades in health and nutrition and science, but it seems like nowadays people are getting more hurt, or maybe they're just softer. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of load managing. I would say that being in the era of positionless basketball, maybe the game isn't as simple as it used to be for a big man, a guy that size. I would make the game more simple for him. Instead of dribbling and driving to the basket, let's set him up for some alley oops. Work that pick and roll like Malone and Stockton used to do. Get that midi up going on. Don't put so much on his shoulders because they got a great team around him. They shouldn't ask him to do as much as he's doing as far as ball handling and driving to the basket at that size. He's really set himself up to be injured again. So I would make the game simple. You know how I do it: low post, mid post, high post. But make the game easier for him, man. Make it simple, easy buckets. Maybe some post touches. I know a lot of teams don't play like that anymore, but I think it would be beneficial for his health if they made the game a little more simple and stop with all this positionless basketball.
Okay.
A lot of these players are a lot of these players coming to the NBA, as young as they may be, but they come into the NBA with a whole lot of mileage on their body. I think the AAU may be the cause for a lot of these injuries. I believe that these players are playing too many games and they're starting at a young age. I mean, you have kids out here in third, fourth, fifth grade, and they're playing 30 games in the AAU season. Then they have their regular basketball season. And as they go up to make it up to the high school rankings and levels, I mean, then it's even more. They may play 40 games. You have these young players, they may be on 3 different teams.
Yeah.
It's just a whole lot going on with basketball before they actually get to the college or the pro level. And by that time, a lot of these young athletes are high mileage.
And you get yourself questioning, your thoughts of what you want to do when it comes to it. I wholeheartedly agree. That's a great point, T1. When you think of the mileage, that's a big deal, because for me, when I played, when I played my sophomore year going into my junior year, I played a lot of AAU basketball throughout the summer. And going into that season, I'm like, I could imagine if I played my freshman year, my eighth grade year, and even years before that. Like, that's a lot. So, that's stuff to think about. And, it's a lot of talk about that AAU circuit. Is it worth you putting your body through all that? Because at the end of the day, some of us don't make it to that college level, that pro level, even overseas. Some of us don't even play for our high school teams, you know, and I mean that's just something to think about. Great point, T1.
Yeah, and I forgot one other part of it. The training part, the hours that these kids are putting in training. So you add the AAU, you add high school basketball, you add the training, then you just add the walking to the bathroom when you're in your house. I mean, these kids are constantly moving, and as strong as they're trying to create their body, they're just doing a whole lot of they're just putting a whole lot of pressure on their joints and their bodies.
Yeah, a lot of stress on that body, man. Yeah,
Yeah, it used to be that old adage that you wanted to play as much basketball as you possibly could to get better. Now I think it's at the point where you have to find a fine line in between playing, not playing enough and playing too much, and they really have to find that sweet spot, man. Because I agree with you. I think some of these young athletes who really the ones that play basketball, they play probably way too much. Um, and I know they want to get good as possible because there's guys out there that are out there playing a lot of basketball, male and female, and they want to be as good as they possibly can. And they don't want to get left behind, but they got to find the sweet spot between not playing enough and playing too much. That's for sure.
Hey, let me say this. We had the best training back in our days when we were teenagers. Guess what that training was? Going right over there to Windsor Rec and running them full courts with the OGs that's 3, 4, 5 years older than us. That's the training that we got. That's what made us dogs. That's what made the Deswan a dog, because we in the 5th grade and Des already balling with the middle schoolers and high schoolers. I had to wait a little bit. You know what I mean? But I still did get to play with the big guys, and that's what created the dogs out here. You know what I mean? A lot of these cats is soft. That was the real training. That was where the real dogs was created, at the rec center.
I can remember many of them beat downs, man.
That's a good point, Ty, because especially when you grow up in a neighborhood where there's probably 2,000 children who can go to this rec center. You know what I'm saying? And you are hoping and praying that you get good enough that they start picking you to play with them. And once that happens, you feel like, man, I made it. You know what I'm saying? So
it was the best feeling.
I totally feel you on that, bro.
It was the best feeling when you finally got picked up to play with the big boys. You know what I mean? And you had and wasn't nobody taking it easy. Wasn't nobody taking it easy, man. What ain't no, oh, he young, take it easy on him. No. In the fire.
My
Dog
summertime,
is created.
my summertime AAU, I think just allow, man, to the WTP, man, WTP, man, to the OGs, man. You T1, man, y'all just setting that tone for stuff like that, man, getting us physical. My thing was getting on the court like on the Saturdays when y'all used to hoop. If I got picked up on a Saturday at the rec or at the pool course on a Sunday, oh man, I felt G. I'm playing my best game. That was my AAU summer, pool court time, because the physical nature that you get out of that, that's one to none, and guys like y'all just wanting to see us get better, having that physical push. I think that's something that if we could get back to, I'm willing to put myself out there for these young kids and stuff that I do now. I know City League do the same thing as well, and what he do at the school. So I think if we can get back to that, man, we can, that'll be something that I think give these kids a different push and a motivation as well. That village, man, it's a big deal.
Yeah, what you saying that, T1, that's funny. You know how NBA players, they talk about when they finally made it to the league, what player bust their ass?
Yeah.
But for us, it was like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? When you finally got to play with them dudes, who bust your ass? Man, Durham McGrew bust my ass a couple times.
Man.
A couple times. I'm like, dude. But he was the standard bearer at the guard position in terms
Oh
of
yeah.
a
Oh
guard
yeah.
who could score, pass, and do all that. Now there were
Yeah.
some other good guards, man, but they didn't have that complete package like he had, man, where he could score, pass, do the whole 9 yards. Other guys might be more pure point guards that could just, pass the rock more or less. But yeah,
I'm
remember?
I'm I'm mad. I'm mad. Lil Magic ain't on here. Post
Oh
for
yeah,
post for the God. He was Magic.
Listen,
hey,
man,
listen,
like
he could throw some dimes, bro.
Oh yeah, all day long.
you got
He was
me.
gonna feed. He was gonna feed you.
Nah, go ahead, go ahead. I was about to say T Hell, man, rest in peace, man.
Oh yeah,
He was one for me, man. I was like, I think,
yeah,
for me going against him and playing against him and getting wins against him, my first win, I felt like winning a championship. Watching him do what he did, during our time, I think that was like one of the goals for me. Of course, Daz, man, like watching him do it was like a lot to what we see in the NBA, man. If you don't know who Daz is, man, you'll have to see it to believe it. I seen it with my own eyes. I didn't get to see some of the high school, but I seen enough. So it's just, man, you think about all that, man. Definitely.
yeah. Well, let's switch over to the Mavs and the Warriors today at 5 p.m. We got the rookie from Duke out there today, along with our man who's been lighting it up for almost 2 decades now, and Steph Curry. What's your thoughts on this matchup? Of course, Kyrie is not back from injury yet. What do y'all think about that game?
Coop been loose lately. He just came off of a 30-point performance. I think he had a 42-point performance. I think he's kind of starting to come into his own. I like what they're doing over in Dallas. You got to wonder what's looming, with the trade block coming around, things like that. But I think in this game, of course, man, got to see what Coop gonna do. Can he come out, have another big performance? On the other side for Golden State, man, Curry is Curry. Until the chef is not playing basketball, you got to guard that man 94 feet. If you don't, he's gonna go for 30. I'm gonna take Chef Christmas Day for a 40 ball today. They at home in this one, so I'm gonna go 40 for Curry at home and a big win over the Mavericks to kind of silence a lot with people questioning Golden State, questioning what they doing. I like this Golden State team, even through the last few years of different trades and things like that.
Yeah, I like Golden State today. I do like I like what the Mavs are doing with their young core. We'll see how good they actually are if Kyrie Irving is able to get back this season. But I gotta say this about Golden State. I don't like how they've kind of retooled. I know you don't rebuild when you got guys like Steph, Draymond, and the nucleus of that team. You kind of retool, but I don't like how they retooled. I don't think they added enough around those players uh, to stay on top of the West where they should be. I think in the latter stages of Steph Curry's career, you got to make sure you got the supporting cast around him so he's competing because you know, hate it or love it, excuse me, we haven't seen a player like Steph Curry. You know, he's one of the better players of this generation, top two or three, if not one. Some people will say one, but he really changed the game with his deep ball. I would have liked the Golden State Warriors and that management team to put a better team around him because right now they're eighth in the West. That's not going to cut it. But I like them to get the win today against a young Dallas Mavericks team and a hurt, injured Dallas Mavericks team.
Yeah. Riddle.
Yeah, I look for the Warriors to get the big win today. I'm not for sure how big we're gonna call it against the Mavericks, but looking for them to get that win. And I'm not looking forward to hearing how many times they say that Cooper Cup is the youngest and about to do this and about to do that. And just trying to build this young man up. I would like for him to like just let the young man play and see where it goes. But when they try to create these new legends or heroes or whatever you want to call it, it really it doesn't pan out. And I'm a switch just for a quick second, and I'm gonna get right back. Are we aware of what the Boozer kid is doing in Duke this year? And he is looking better than Cup looked last year. So, all of this stuff that I'm hearing about the little young guy, and I understand that they want to have a face of their own that they can put out there as the best in the world. But I'm just not looking forward to hearing all of this, the youngest and all of this and all of that since LeBron and all of this and all of that. So I just want to watch basketball and enjoy the game. But I got the Warriors in this one.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Real quick, I'm gonna double back with you on that, T1, because this college basketball with Boozer, you talk about a Blue Devil. That's the one you should be talking about right now, because this Maverick team, the way they talked about Coop, no disrespect, they should be flying higher than they are, injuries or no injuries. But anyways, looking like a similar draft class to LeBron, Unk's GOAT that's coming in with Boozer, AJ. You got so many names, Koa. You got so many names out there, man. College basketball is a scene. It is a place to be. It is a thing to watch. As we continue to talk about this NBA, I just had to double back and get that in there because it's special watching all this basketball, man, and seeing Cooper this year. Then you seeing what they bringing in next year from Duke. It's like you seeing factories, and you just got to tap into it and look at it that way. Yeah, definitely.
Before we go to the next game, what's y'all's opinion on Draymond Green?
He Draymond. He and his I believe that Golden State made Draymond. I believe if he was on any other team in the NBA, he would have been like just one of the most average players that you probably would have ever seen. I just don't. I never really looked at him at that type of player. It's just he had those Splash Brothers and like maybe a 7-foot center, and it just created a whole lot for him to be able to do. And now he can't control games. He can't do much to influence a game. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna tear up the bench, tear up the locker room, or whatever, whatnot. So I just think he needs to just play basketball and get ready to retire. He had a great career. Don't ruin it on the way out.
I agree. I've never been a big fan of Draymond Green. Undersized power forward, and I give him that. He has heart. He's a hustle player, a versatile hustle player. But him showing up as coach, come on, man. You going at Kenyon Martin, who Kenyon Martin was a dog in the first pick overall after messing up both his knees. Can y'all remember how explosive Kenyon Martin was?
Yeah,
Can y'all
yeah,
imagine how explosive he would have been had he had not had those knee injuries? Like,
yeah.
come on, man, what we doing here? You in the background dancing for Stephen Clay and Durant and them, man. You just a backup dancer, you know. So I'm not. I don't think Draymond is as good as he probably think he is. He's a good role player, but one of the better power forwards ever. No, good enough to be talking down on a guy like Kenyon Martin who win at Shaq and Kobe. No,
For me, when you think about Draymond Green, he's a guy that I like, and I know certain things like this. When you like somebody, you look at things differently. You can't think about Golden State and not think about Draymond Green. Brought championships, all of those great things. And as his career has come to a slow, decline, you've seen a lot of things go on. I think we're looking at a stage of what we talk about, the mental. I think that's something we need to start looking at because I think we're seeing a possible cry out for help. when you do things like this, you never know. You can't come at Kenyon Martin talking about a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, for the time that he played in the NBA. Shout out to Kenyon Martin for what you graced us with, and even not having the health, but still being that great player. Fan of me, I was a fan of his at Cincinnati, and even when he got to the NBA. So shout out to him. I even watch his podcast when he's on Gill just to see different things. So it's something. I think, we need to take a step back, check our mental before we do a lot of things, man. Take that deep breath. I had to do that at work last night a couple times. We get in positions where we had to take a step back, take that deep breath before we do something we will regret. And in this case, I think he's going to be sitting at home after the game today and regretting a lot of things he's done over the past week or so, especially this situation.
Yeah, I think we all can appreciate a player who does the dirty work, the work that, the grind and all that. But none of us like a dirty player or messy player. So, what I'm saying? So I think he probably falls more in that dirty, messy player than, even though he does do the dirty work. I would like to see him go ahead and tone it down a little bit as well, man. But we'll see. Maybe he feels like that's who he is. That's his character. That's his MO. But I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. What's your thoughts on the Rockets traveling to LA to play the Lakers at 8 p.m. tonight? We got two of the guys who are on their way out in their last years in the league, and Kevin Durant and LeBron, my GOAT, James. How y'all feel about this game today?
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. That's what your GOAT said. That's how I feel. It's a party going down today.
T.Y., you a fool. He said, ain't no party like a Diddy party. Man, this in L.A. or this in Houston?
It's in L.A.
Oh, yeah. You said it right, T.Y. This is going to be a big Showtime party. When the Stars is out in L.A., I'm looking for Durant actually to take this game over by storm. These young Rockets, I think this is a game they've been looking forward to. I know Durant likes to play in L.A. Stars is out. Ain't no telling who all going to be at this game. I'm looking forward to see that. Thompson. This Rockets team is dangerous. Big Seagon carrying the ball full length of the court, doing what he do. I think San Antonio and Houston, I don't know. I don't know if OKC, I don't agree with them winning back-to-back. I just don't think that. I don't even think they can get that 73. So I think this is a game to watch today. See what this Rockets team do. Christmas Day could set the tone, and then you look at All-Star Week. That's what I do when it comes to the NBA. I look at Christmas Day performances, and I look at All-Star break, All-Star Weekend, who performs during those times. Catapults their team in different ways throughout those key points of the season. And I think the Rockets come out. I think LeBron will put on a show for us, but I got the Rockets in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Lakers today, and especially if Surf's Up is healthy. I don't know why his name just slipped my mind. Luka Doncic. If Luka Doncic is healthy and playing today, I like the Lakers, especially at home. But I'm gonna say something about this Houston Rockets team. They're young, outside of a couple players, but all in all, they're a young, athletic, lone team. They're gonna give a lot of people problems come playoff time. And I think they're going to be one of those teams that get better and better progressively throughout the season. And they're going to be a matchup nightmare come playoff time, especially if Kevin Durant is able to remain healthy and that coaching staff. What Ime Doka, I believe is his name, is still, although he went through the controversy in Boston and whatnot, is still one of the better coaches in the NBA, and that's somebody I wouldn't bet against in the 7 game series. So I'll take the Lakers today, but Houston, I think their future is very bright.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna watch this game at all. But of course, I would like to see both of these teams Just have a good showing out there today, man. If Luka's not playing, then I'd like to see my man LeBron James drop 30 plus on him. I would like to see him and Durant and possibly maybe during stretches of this game have to guard each other and just see what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Two old guys. Yeah, exactly. on their, on their way out, ending their careers, man, just to let the fans see them two go at it a couple of times down the court and just get the fans a little bit of something. But I'm anxious to see what the final box scores are. I'm probably not going to watch that game now. What do y'all think about the Timberwolves at the Nuggets late night
Time out,
tonight?
Rob. Time out, Rob. Why you not gonna watch that game?
I'm probably going to be doing something else with my time.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
I'm chilling. It's Christmas Day. He on break, T.Y. He got to get his chill in. But that is his GOAT, so that is a good question. Christmas Day, you get no GOAT action?
I'm more one of those dudes who's going to go back in my spare time and watch the highlights as opposed to sit down and try to watch the whole game. Yeah, that's not going to happen for me. Not yet, and not this part of the season. Maybe in the playoffs. Yeah, maybe in the playoffs. What do y'all think about the Timberwolves at the Nuggets tonight at 10:30? We got the Joker against the young guy, Edwards. What's your thoughts on this one? It's actually in Denver. So what's your thoughts on that one?
Early game, Christmas Day performance. I'm looking for Anthony Edwards to go on the road. I have one of the great performances of his early career, I would say. Christmas Day. Denver's a quiet team, though. Denver quietly stand on top of what they do, looking real dangerous, even though it's early. I got Minnesota, and I like Ant-Man, of course. That's my guy. Got them winning in this game on the road. I just think they could do it. They've been playing a little streaky, but they've been playing good enough for me late to get this win at Denver.
Yeah, it's an intriguing matchup. Minnesota has came along as of late when they 8 out of their last 10 games. I like Ant-Man. I thought he had a chance to be the face of the league, but I think he made some bad decisions. Hopefully he recovers from those decisions and is able to kind of clean up his reputation and because he definitely could be the face of the league moving forward. That dude's a special athlete. But I like Denver, man. Jokic is playing well. Still remains in the MVP race year in and year out, and that team has some health issues. So Denver could be a really scary team coming down the stretch if they're able to get healthy and get back rolling. But they're third in the West right now. They're still a force. I like Minnesota, as I said. They've been playing well as of late, but I'm gonna take Denver in this one.
yeah, I got this is a good one. I ain't taking nobody. This is always a pretty good matchup with this Minnesota and Denver team. Great entertainment. You gonna get fireworks. You gonna get everything you're looking for. So I'm interested in just watching a great NBA Christmas game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Nuggets since they're at home in this one, but I do like Anthony Edwards as a basketball player. Some of his personal choices, he might need to be advised on, but as a basketball player, man, he is really really talented, and I think eventually, man, if he doesn't correct some of his actions, he's gonna probably leave a lot of money on the table, man. A lot of money, or blow a lot of money that he could use a little bit more wisely to really generate a lot of money for himself. But hopefully, he's still young, so hopefully somebody will get him up under his wing and teach him how to stop making some of those boneheaded decisions. Because there was a time when I think market-wise, he was going to be the face of the league. Let's turn our attentions to the NFL action right now. We got the Cowboys and the Commanders right now playing. I think the Cowboys were up 7-0 at this point in the first quarter. What's your thoughts on these two teams? I think we probably expected more out of the Commanders, but injuries sort of derailed their season. The Cowboys weren't quite able to get it going earlier in the season, even though they're playing a lot better than what they were early in the season. What's your thoughts on this matchup?
Classic holiday matchup. Um, Good football, just for the average football fan, or anybody needing that football fix today. You can't go wrong with the Cowgirls and the Commanders. So hopefully, isn't Dallas out of the playoff running? It's over for them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So would have been. I would have liked to seen a more meaningful game for Christmas. It is Christmas, so we should have some type of meaning behind these games other than, it just being Dallas and Washington playing each other. But I guess the NFL had to do something, and it is what it is. As you said with the Lakers, I probably won't watch a minute of that game.
This is how crazy this is, man. It's Christmas Day. I just figured out, learned something. Another one of my things came too. No Parsons, no playoffs. This game is on Netflix. Christmas Day, Cowboys at the Skins. They got this game on Netflix. Jerry Jones, it's time to give it up, bro. No Parsons, no playoffs. Y'all on Netflix today on Christmas Day. I don't know what else to say. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Commanders. It's 7-3. I'm going to pick Washington at home.
I'm gonna start with the Commanders because I got some beef with the Cowboys. Um, the Commanders showed flashes last year of what they could be. This year, I think Rob mentioned it due to injuries. Uh, they're down. They're 4-11. Not playing really good football right now. Defense is not good. They don't have a quarterback due to injury. But we'll see if they can turn it around. I don't think they're going to beat Dallas today. They just don't have enough. Even though that's not a high bar to clear going against the Cowboys. Um, the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, you should be ashamed of yourself, sir. All the Dallas Cowboy fans across the United States of America and across the pond too. Dallas is dubbed as America's team. You stealing money. You taking these fans' money. You getting their hopes up every single season. Every single season, we hear the Cowboys are going to win the championship. This is their year. And every single season, like clockwork, it is not their year. Jerry Jones, you should be ashamed of yourself having one of the premier franchises across sports and giving the fans this mediocrity every single season. You don't want to have a good defense. The defense is terrible. You got Dak and CD on offense, and that's just about it. You haven't won a Super Bowl since the 90s. Your fans are infuriated.
Early 90s.
Right. I think I said that right.
The heyday.
Like, it's an embarrassment, Jerry Jones. What are you doing? You got all this money. Go all in for them championships like you used to do in the 90s, where you had prime time Dion and all those guys, Michael Irvin. But it's an embarrassment. The Dallas Cowboys are an embarrassment. They got CeeDee Lamb and Pickens and Prescott, decent running game, and their defense is trash. They can't get the job done, man. What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm picking the Cowboys to win this game today. One thing they can do is they can score some points. They probably can't stop nobody from scoring some points, but since the Commanders don't have their starting quarterback, I think the Cowboys outlast them today. and win this game. But it's a game that really don't matter. I would like to see the NFL get to the point where once they know that they're coming up on this slate of games, that they go ahead and find a way to put the more meaningful games on during this day. Um, I don't know how they can do that because you got short weeks and long weeks and all that other stuff. But hopefully they can figure something out, man. Because I would rather see somebody else playing today than the Cowboys and the Commanders. What's your thoughts on? Did everybody go on that one?
Yep.
What's your thoughts on the Lions versus the Vikings?
I think the Vikings are trying to spoil the Lions' hopes of getting in, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think it's gonna happen.
you said it's gonna happen or not gonna happen?
No, I don't think it's gonna happen. Give me the Lions.
Give you the Lions in this one. It's so many questions that got to be answered in Minnesota to where do they come out and play tough at home this late in the season, and they would love to spoil the chances of Detroit. Rest in heaven, Grandpa, man. I'm going with your Vikings today at home and an upset. I think that's something to look at. Commanders, I think I'm picking them, of course, to win. I think the Vikings can do the same. I don't know about the teams that's not or trying to get in, going on the road and getting the win today. I think that's going to be tough, except another one we got coming up. But I'm going to go with the Vikings in this one.
Yeah, I'll take the Detroit Lions. The Vikings don't have anything to play for. They're already eliminated from playoff contention. They won't have their starting quarterback. And even if they have their starting quarterback, do they have a starting quarterback, if you know what I mean? But I'll take Detroit despite them not being the same as last year when they lost their offensive coordinator to the head coaching job of the Chicago Bears. They just haven't looked the same since that move was made. But they still got Jameer Gibbs. They still got Amon St. Brown. They still got a decent quarterback in Jared Goff. So I think they'll find a way to get the job done and force some turnovers. I think the Vikings are going to be turning the ball over today. So I'll pick Detroit to get the job done.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Detroit as well. Even though Amon St. Brown is questionable, I think Montgomery is questionable as well. They may get out there and perform, but as long as you got Jameer Gibbs and you got Williamson on the outside with all that speed, man, that they have, you're gonna just go get a heavy dosage of those two guys to help Jared Goff get this offense moving. And like you said, the Vikings don't really have anything to play for other than being spoiler to one of their rivals, the Lions in their division. But I don't think they're gonna have enough today. So I'm gonna go with the Lions to win this game as well.
I got a quick question.
Oh, go ahead.
How big of a move was that for Minnesota to get rid of Darnoldson and put all of their put all their eggs in on a rookie quarterback?
And T1, not only Darnold, but what's the quarterback for the Colts? Indiana Jones too. Daniel Jones was on that roster last year too. So for them to bank on a rookie like that, I don't know what they were seeing before he got the rookie quarterback from Michigan got injured. But I don't know what they were seeing. Maybe they were seeing a completely different quarterback before he got injured and had to sit out that first year, his rookie season. But man, he just don't look like the. And the draft process kind of confused me because I'm glad you said that, Ty. He was never known like he can make some throws, but he never had a volume of throws at Michigan. We all know that was a heavy run team, so I don't know what they saw in him to say, okay, this guy, we like to pass the ball. We're gonna take this guy in the first round. So I'm just as confused as anybody else.
I'm glad that was a good point, exactly. Because I think they might have seen that 14-0 season and thought that what Darnold did, they could do with him and retool him and manage him in that way with the run game in Minnesota. But I think Darnold sitting back like Burrow after that LSU championship, smoking a cigar right now, enjoying that bread he just got paid as he's leading that Seattle team to great heights. I think that's something to look at. You leave Minnesota, you go to Seattle, and you're doing your thing. Shout out to Darnold for just consistently getting up, waking up when that alarm go off, getting to practice, man, and being that having that push to continue to be successful, even when you got a young superstar coming off an undefeated season, winning a championship behind you. Shout out to them. So that's something to think about, man. Got to question what you're looking for in the draft and make sure you're making the right decision. Sometimes you got to stick it out, and I know they sitting back, shaking their head because they could be sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Vikings used the first round pick on J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they made that decision, because they gave this guy first round money. So you know how that goes. When they draft you in the first round, they got to put you out there on the field, man, until they can't. But as far as Sam Donald was concerned, man, great story. A guy who was bouncing around the league a little bit, didn't do so well at the Jets, but went to Minnesota, had a really good season last year, and is having another really good season this year for the Seattle Seahawks. So shout out to him, man, for figuring it out and understanding it. Listen, I could be a starting quarterback in this league. I kind of wanted my Titans to get him 2 years ago, before they had to get the first round pick. But maybe I wouldn't have Cam Moore right now if we did, which I think I would rather have a young Cam Moore than Sam Darnold with no players around him. Hopefully we get some players around Cam Moore. But shout out to Sam Darnold for what he has done the last 2 seasons, rebuild himself.
But y'all know who I feel bad for when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings? That's Justin
Justin
Jefferson, man.
Jefferson, yeah.
That dude is too good not to be getting the ball due to quarterback play.
Man, who would get Justin Jefferson, man? Because I don't think he's going to get the type of volume of throws unless Minnesota finds it on the QB. I don't think JJ is it. Sorry to say.
I think when he becomes a free agent, if the quarterback situation is still what it is, he's out. Yeah, he's out.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's out of there. What do y'all think about the Broncos traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to play that team that's going to make the playoffs in the Patrick Mahomes era, the Kansas City Chiefs? I feel sorry for my man Xavier Worthy, because he probably only going to get 2 catches for 25 yards like he's been getting the last couple of weeks. What's your thoughts on this matchup?
Man, we would have thought we talking about an AFC West showdown, possible division. You know what I mean? At this time of the season, prime time at 8:15, both Broncos about to come out and put a mile-high beat down at Arrowhead Stadium and say the Chiefs, we'll see you next year. But I just think it's good to see what the Broncos is doing. It's not good seeing what Kansas City going through, man. I hope Mahomes get better. I don't know. There's some questions that got to be answered in Kansas City, especially on the offensive line. As we've seen these great quarterbacks, dynasty done for me. I think that's what it is as well. So I think Broncos are starting to take back the AFC West. They get this win tonight. I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, you simply gonna see Kansas City get Swiss cheesed up. That's all you're gonna see. I predicted, if y'all remember, when we were doing the NFL preview earlier this year, that Denver would take this division, and that was a money pick for myself. But not only is Pat Mahomes out, but their backup quarterback Minshew will be out. That's not a good formula for success going against that Broncos pass rush. RJ Harvey, the rookie running back, has really, kind of took hold of that starting running back job. He looks nice and explosive. I believe he's going to have a big game. I don't love the Denver's quarterback, but I think he's good enough to get the job done. But they really going to have to play lights out on defense for that if that team is going to make it far in the postseason. But I got the Broncos today, and it ain't close.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos too. And how about did y'all know that the Chiefs will be moving to Kansas and out of Kansas City, Missouri? So
Yeah.
that just goes along with, they're in and making it to the playoffs, in and making it to the divisional championship game, in and making it to the Super Bowl. It's about to be a new era in Kansas City.
Man, that's something to think about because with all that being said, could have opened up the door for more to come in a way of them winning, or like you said, that new era. Could we be seeing a different tight end? That's something special. We're already seeing that the young boys from Texas come in and do what they do. Can in the years to come we be seeing Kansas City draft a QB? It's just a lot to look at this Kansas City organization with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. We look at him as a GOAT in some eyes. A lot of comparisons to that and what he's done with that team being a dynasty built. But it's some things to look at. What he's done with this injury. Is he going to come back being himself? Can he come back better than ever? Can he come back and lead this team to wins? It's a lot of questions to be answered. Same thing we looked at when Burrow had his injury. These torn ACLs and knee injuries are a serious thing. So it's just something to look at. Different strokes for different folks. Every QB is different. They move different. So will we see limits on what he's able to do? That's something to look at. And for me, when it comes to Burrow, I've seen him be way better. So that's the scary thing for me. Is Mahomes going to come back better than ever, or are we going to see something different? So that's just my thoughts on that whole Chief situation that's going on now in the future to come.
If you're the Chiefs and the fact that they're not going to make the playoffs, would you play a lot of your backups the rest of the season just to see what you got out there, see how well they can perform in game time situations?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Y'all see who got that hunger. You say next man up, T1, every time. I think that's exactly what we should see.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they already put their best wide receiver on injured reserve. Let's see what those youngins got. Let's see what your backup tight ends got. I know Travis Kelce is going to play, but let's see what, just like Rob said, see what you got on that roster because you definitely need to do a makeover this offseason. And hopefully for Kansas City's sake, Mr. Jeremiah Love comes into play when they're drafting. Because they definitely don't have a running game, and that's one of the things that's been holding them back. So we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, I think they got an opportunity probably to find a gem on their two deep or on their bench somewhere, man. A guy who's hungry, just waiting on the opportunity to get the chance to play. He just probably don't have that contract to where you can't put him out there on the field because you got this other guy that's in front of him that's making all these millions. So you got to play that guy. I would definitely be trying to play some of these young guys, man, and not even risk the injuries to some of the guys who you can count on next season. I wouldn't even risk injury with those dudes. So I would definitely put those younger players out there, the guys who haven't had much playing time, and just see what they can do. I mean, you ain't got nothing to lose at this point because you're not going to the playoffs. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we wrap up? We're right at an hour and 10 minutes, right where we want to be to end our broadcast. Anything else y'all want to discuss before we wrap up?
Hey, how about the kid who's in the NBA draft in 2023 will now be suiting up for Baylor here come next month at the beginning of the semester? Y'all heard anything about that?
Hold on, Rick. You said
Yeah,
he suited up for the NBA?
he got drafted.
He got drafted, and he actually, I do believe they said that he played for the Knicks in the summer league last year.
Hmm.
He's going back to college with 4 years of eligibility. He's going to Baylor.
Yeah, yeah, man, unbelievable. What a time to be alive. 2025.
Right.
This was unheard of years ago, right, fellas?
Man,
Um, I mean, dang, man, I remember once you hired an agent, it was a wrap.
It's over with.
it's over with.
Yeah.
My goodness, man. Now this kid goes through the whole NBA draft process, gets some run in the summer league, and then gets to go back to college and
Yeah,
get paid. 'Cause, you know,
he was overseas last year. So he
Yeah.
went back. He went back overseas and played ball overseas. My guess is
unbelievable,
that has to be professionally.
unbelievable, bro. Yeah, you know what though? I would say opposed to the summer league or overseas for a young man that young, I think that is the best option for him. Even though it's weird and new, I think going back to college and being able to play in college, improve your draft stock, make some NIL money or whatnot, it's the best option as opposed to going overseas or just floating around in the G League.
Yeah, and I really don't think it's all bad. I really believe that even a college football player, you get drafted in the 7th round. I think you should be able to say, you know what, I think I'm gonna go back to school, because if you think about it, and just like every other sport, for some odd reason, basketball and football gets a bad rap, and I don't know if it's because of a cultural thing, but in baseball, you can get drafted out of high school.
Yeah.
You're getting drafted out of high school, then you're going off to college, or you may even go off to AAA, and then you
Yep.
go back to college. Then you go off to college. So you know, it's a lot of unfairness when it comes to basketball and football out here. And when things like this happen, they look and it becomes a problem. Then it's an issue when they've been doing it in baseball, hockey, soccer, whatever, forever.
Tennis, golf.
Yeah, tennis, golf, for everything, So, kudos to this young man for feeling like he made a mistake and feeling like he still has more development to do and going to do it.
And I pulled up the article and I read it. That's It's wild because to sum it all up, it seems like now if you don't play an NBA game, you still have eligibility to play in college, because that's what it seems like. He's played with the looks through the article of overseas and things like that, but he hasn't played an actual NBA game. But to go back to college, and then he joins a Baylor team. Right now, he's a 7-footer in college basketball. They're 9-2. I think this is a team to look at now post game for when we had these discussions, fellas, as well. Look at this Baylor team with a 7-footer joining them as they're 9-2 in the thick of things in the Big 12. So it's something to think about, and it that lets you know opportunity is there. I think it's a good thing overall that you can do things like this. It just shows the change of the guard, man, in sports across. So, hats off to him. I hope he can make it to that next level. And I know he's putting his education first, because you can't play sports without the education. So I think I like this story. It's shocking, but I like it. I know we have our talks about things, but 21-year-old man had a shot, go back to try to get it. Let's go. Let's do it.
And he went number
So
31 overall. So evidently the young man has talent. To
Yeah.
get drafted in the first round says it means a whole lot.
Yeah.
absolutely. And my question is this though. So I believe the Knicks drafted him. So when he's done with college, do they still own his rights, or does he jump back into the draft?
I believe he jumps back into the draft.
He could get drafted because he got his rights got traded. It says in the article I'm reading, his rights got traded to the Charlotte Hornets. He played summer league. He didn't play no actual NBA game. So, you know, then he's just able to go back into the draft completely and get drafted.
Well, I mean that's interesting, man. Because if Charlotte owns the rights to him, why don't when his time comes, why can't they get him? I mean that means they lost a whole pick, right?
That's what it's weird. Like I'm just reading it. Well,
Wow.
it says the rights were traded to he was the 31st pick, was drafted by the Pistons before getting immediately traded to the Hornets. In 24, his rights were traded then to the Knicks. Spent time playing for both in the summer league, but has not appeared in an NBA game. And now he's back playing college basketball.
Yeah, so I think we're back. I would like to say that my guess is you're back at square one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Thinking.
Lost those rights.
So are we saying that this guy, like, so he played some college basketball, right? Or he didn't play any college basketball?
No, I believe he came from overseas.
Yeah,
He came from overseas.
Yep.
Played, how many years was he jumping around in professional basketball overseas in the league?
Well,
Well, he went to,
go ahead,
ahead.
Paul.
no, he was drafted in 2023, so it's the last year and a half or 2 years. But
Okay.
fellas, I don't know if he gets to jump back in the draft because this article is saying that the NBA draft rights still held by the New York Knicks, creating a unique pathway back to the pros. So I don't know if he gets to jump back in the draft when he's done with college.
Hey, that kind of would be kind of sweet too, to be, because in New York, they're not a slouch team. So if you were able to have a good season in this half a season that we have here, and get to go straight to New York, I guess that's not too bad. That's not too shabby.
To sum this all up and put this in perspective, you said New York still have rights to him, correct? And we just earlier in the stream talked about the big cat and what he needs to do. I'm gonna put this in the air. If Cat don't do what he do, if New York has rights to this young man, he might be the next big after Cat to come to New York if they don't make no trade. And his development from Baylor, I'm gonna just throw that in the air. If they got rights to him, that's crazy. That's interesting.
The thing I want to know is, okay, is he getting 4 years after
Yeah.
Yeah, his
4 years?
eligibility is
He
good.
got all four.
Yeah.
Damn, he's getting all 4. They ain't penalizing him, saying, listen, you had a chance to come and play your 4 years 2 years ago, so if you didn't do that, you only getting 2. I guess not. 4 years, wow. That's interesting. I like it though. I like for whenever a young person like that wants to go and test to see if they can make it into the professional realm, and they can't, and they still have some eligibility left, I believe they should have the option of coming back and trying to do it all over again and see if they could pick up on some extra skills to help them make it into the pro life. Now they shouldn't get another 4, but how much ever they had left over, they should be able to go back and have that eligibility still there for them. In my opinion, I think that would be dope if they came up with something like that. Just as long as they don't have no Diego Pavias out there trying to get 20 years.
Y'all got me thinking.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate y'all making it, man. Who was that?
Caden Salsa. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching and tuning in as well this afternoon. Merry Christmas as well.
Yeah. All right, y'all have a good rest of y'all's day, man. I appreciate y'all making it. Somebody go ahead and take us out.
Hey, fellas, y'all know the drill. We was in the building. We up out of here. Peace out. Love y'all, fellas.
Happy holidays.
Much love.
Holidays.
All right, y'all. Peace. Happy holidays, y'all too.